PierESCAPE. Allow us to introduce you to a rare new opportunity for Chicago. We'll take you on an inside look from the view of a design and development team that's world-renowned. This world-class design team is composed of Brody Bond, Martha Schwartz Partners, Aedas Architects, Hal Crow-Yoles, Salomon Cordwell Benz, and more. It's a design that will transform Navy Pier and create a destination that will celebrate innovation while addressing the challenges of this bold venture. Chicago is known worldwide for its magnificent skyline and innovative approaches to landscape and architecture. This world-class design aims to take this treasured piece of real estate and expand it into a multi-dimensional journey that connects the city out to the shoreline down to the water, and the water up to the sky. Building on the success of this magical location while transforming Navy Pier into a one-of-a-kind world-class destination, PierESCAPE is a rare civic opportunity that has inspired this team of developers and designers to create an iconic and 21st century waterfront experience. This escape on the lake blurs the boundaries between water, land, nature, city, culture, civic space, and infrastructure. Recalling Daniel Burnham's vision of Chicago's lakefront as an archipelago of lagoons and islands foregrounding Chicago's majestic skyline. PierESCAPE transforms Navy Pier into a spectacular urban landscape with 5 uniquely imaginative episodes. Crossing the water. Gateway Park will create an official arrival to the territory of Navy Pier, providing not only functionality with easy access for pedestrians, vehicular traffic, and bus drop-off, but a grand crossing with a wetland stream, commemorating the natural condition of Lake Michigan's shoreline. The stream originates on the north side of Gateway Plaza as the Wetland Steps, a waterfall berm that screens views and noise from the bus plaza beyond. Water drawn up from the lake cascades down this berm and flows between stepping stones among hardy plantings of riparian grasses and sedges, culminating to the south in the Scoop. And at the center of it all, a commanding wave fountain, an interactive field of water jets creating dynamic east-to-west waves inspired by the lake. A great attraction for the child and every visitor, the wave fountain is also the principal lighting feature of Gateway Park and is designed to remain active year-round. In winter, the waves will build ever-changing ice. Gateway Park is comprised of wetland gardens, cascading waterfalls, dune grasses, botanical gardens, and sloping docks that give way to a commanding overlook, where visitors can take in the entire PierESCAPE experience and the vast horizon beyond. The clutter of the current promenade gives way to the grace and elegance of the South Dock porch. Expanding and resurfacing the South Dock edge transforms the existing concrete apron into a great exterior promenade, framed by streamlined kiosks and sculptural light towers which, when illuminated and seen from a distance, dramatize the impressive length of the pier. The porch extends westward into Streeterville, projecting the pier experience to Michigan Avenue, State Street, and the city at large, like a residential porch, which negotiates between private house and public street. Newly calibrated signage and graphics to appropriately represent the brand of the transformed pier will emphasize a new graphic language that puts clarity and confidence first, with a streamlined palette of colors and fonts consolidated into PierESCAPE's modular system of light towers and kiosks, reducing clutter and graphic noise. The walking deck is resurfaced in precast concrete planks with a wood grain pattern. The porch folds up to greet the south-facing buildings and the pier edge. These folds become seating, planters, and other forms of furniture. The undulating formal language of this experiential design effortlessly accommodates the park's amusements and other programs, with areas tailored to outdoor performance, ride queuing, group activities, and seating for parents and onlookers. Going through the looking glass at Pier Park and Crystal Gardens. You are now on the upper level of Navy Pier, where visitors will truly see through the looking glass. The complex program mixture of amusements, restaurants and catering, miniature golf, theater, playscapes, and plants add up to one thing: Wonderland. The Ferris wheel features new wheelchair-accessible cabins with wraparound frameless glazing that gives riders unforgettable views in all directions. In-cabin temperature control ensures the Ferris wheel remains an irresistible destination every day of the year. Everything old is new again. The vibrant expression of Pier Park extends right into the Crystal Garden, transforming it into a miniature world for children to explore. Custom-designed interactive play equipment integrated into this topography will be appealing sculpture for adults and a fantasy land for kids. Redistributing the palm trees will make them tropical exclamation points that emphasize the impressive height of the Crystal Garden's interior. Taking it over the edge. Floating Park, Floating Piers, a new destination vessel that docks and lives alongside the pier. An archipelago of floating wood-clad decks, bridges, and islands extend out into the lake. Ultimately the most inviting experience and completely accessible. The creation of the floating piers will bestow Navy Pier with a new southerly orientation to the sun, Lake Michigan, and the Chicago skyline. The formal pattern of the floating piers is derived from the same overlapping grids and diagonals that give Chicago its urban structure, capturing the spirit of the city as a rational, modern construction with moments of idiosyncrasy, specificity, and surprise. The floating piers will offer an expansive array of activities through all 4 seasons and are organized into 3 sections with different kinds of programming. The Play Pier, a playland like no other, for kids and adults alike. The Performance Pier, a floating stage sheltered by glass walls, with bleachers that descend into the water for spontaneous and planned performances. The Quiet Pier, designated for more relaxing activities, such as sitting on decks and lounge chairs at the water's edge. Next, you will arrive at Boat Central on the South Dock. 4 new commercial piers will serve the fleet of entertainment, sightseeing, and excursion boats operating from Navy Pier. The new pier configuration allows larger vessels to be grouped on the widest piers, with sightseeing and smaller craft interspersed on the narrower piers and adjacent portion of the South Dock. Visitors will stroll past the boat piers and arrive at a sparkling surface that will be a major installation by the artist Ned Kahn. It will consist of a framework of stainless steel elements motivated by the wind. The sun and wind will provide a kinetic and ever-changing feast for the eye upon this dynamic surface. And now you have arrived at Taking the Plunge, East Edge Park. The East End is the big finish to the PierESCAPE. After the amazing art installation, you are led to a steamy blue lagoon, a reference to the spectacular Blue Lagoon thermal baths in Iceland. This will be the place on Chicago's lakefront where people can soak in the water all year round. The spa will provide a refreshing dip from a breathtaking vantage point. Bathhouses will provide opportunities for changing and socializing, and heated pools will provide a magical place to experience the lake in winter, with steam rising to create dramatic mist and rainbows. In the winter, there will be ice skating, and the experience of the lake as an Arctic sea magically transposed beneath the skyline of Chicago. The East End steps are truly the grand finale of PierESCAPE. Reaching out toward the horizon, creating a unique and compelling vantage point that takes visitors out beyond the former terminus of Navy Pier. These great wide steps form an amphitheater that gently descends into the lake in deference to the landmark Grand Ballroom. The experience of the East End is the PierESCAPE, giving way to Lake Michigan's power, beauty, and ecology. But yet we are not complete. Pier Pod. PierESCAPE transports you to a future that could only be realized in the 21st century. Why shouldn't your mode of transportation do the same? In keeping with the city wrapping its arms around Navy Pier, this new element puts PierESCAPE moments away, an experience to behold from Michigan Avenue. An aerial gondola developed by Marks and Barfield serves both as a transit system and a major tourist attraction. The design of the pylon supports is a reflection of Chicago's iconic Y symbol that represents the forks of the river. The pods are aerodynamic glass jewels shaped to reduce wind resistance, and the system can be built in phases as demand and funding allows. PierESCAPE and Pier Pod are scalable, phasable, and achievable. The ease and logic with which they can be sequentially implemented is one of their great strengths, and both will realize critical elements that will dramatically improve public experience, immediately achieving the centennial vision of a world-class destination. PierESCAPE is world-class. PierESCAPE is big. PierESCAPE is innovative. PierESCAPE is civic. PierESCAPE is Chicago. As Blair Kamen of the Chicago Tribune said, PierESCAPE is the best of the big moves, easily the most comprehensive. The plan has strong aesthetic strokes, like a long row of stainless steel light towers along the South Dock Promenade that would restore the now jumbled pier's once elegant linear profile. Swirling hills and oversized mushroom-like structures would transform the park around the Ferris wheel and the Crystal Gardens into a through-the-looking-glass wonderland. The boldest move, a series of floating boardwalks extending from the South Dock, would relieve the pier's congestion, bring people closer to the water, and transform the pier from an industrial barge to a new hybrid of pier and park.